Welcome to Iris After Hours.
Casual conversations with inspirational speakers off the clock.
Welcome to Iris After Hours. Africa, come on, here we are. Just arrived in Pemba. Yolanda Steed-Zafi is with me. Now, Yolanda, you run the Iris Footprint Space in South Africa. Welcome to Iris After Hours.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Oh,
All casual and African.
I love it. I love it. Hey, so when did you get here?
I got here on Thursday. Actually.
On Thursday. Okay. I just got here. Guys. I just got here today, and I'm just doing a podcast straight away. So this is fantastic.
You're looking great.
Oh, thank you.
All Pemba-ized.
Come on. I know. I love being in Pemba. It's so good to be back here.
Oh, me too. It's like another home.
I know. So yeah, Yolanda, I've seen you so much over the years coming up to Pemba. So many Iris people and missionaries come through and say footprints. How did it all start? How did you first get connected with Iris and Heidi and Roland? Tell us the story.
Well, we were doing the whole Place of Safety Children's Care Centre way back in 19, what am I talking about? Well, about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a long time. And then in 2004, I took a team to Zimpeto.
Okay.
And just
to the base there?
To the base in Zimpeto.
Yep.
We used to go there quite often, like take 2-3 teams a year. And just met Heidi and Roland and loved the hearts. It was like mine. I was a professional church pastor.
Right.
And with the passion just to do something for the kingdom that was more than just teaching and lecturing at Bible school and things like that. So we had the Place of Safety. I was running foster and adoptive parent workshops.
Wow.
For parents who wanted to adopt and foster kids.
Is that because you'd been working and you had your own centre for a while? Or did you study at university? Or how did?
Yes, I did. I've got a PhD in behavioural psychology and in early childhood development and all sorts of things.
Wow.
But that's just on paper.
Yeah.
The passion was to see the lives change.
Yes,
and
of course.
So I started to, through the University of South Africa, UNISA, they actually qualified a course that we could teach to all centres and all adoptive centres and to everybody, secular as well as churchgoers that wanted to foster and adopt a child. And so I was doing that and realised that people were adopting for the wrong reasons and not fostering for the wrong reasons. Right. It was more to save their marriage or to, be politically correct.
Right.
And for me, I was like, no, we've got to change characters and change lives. And going and hearing Heidi speak, it was like, this lady is like speaking my heart and my language.
Wow.
And so that was an encouragement for me to go back and change everything I was doing. Wow. Changed everything.
So she had a big influence.
She had a huge influence. And I remember just listening to her and thinking, wow, one person, her and her husband, doing so much. We can do this. I was married at the time, been together for a long, long time, and we were in ministry together. And so I went back and said to my husband then, hey, we're doing this wrong. We've got to do this differently. And so, I just said, if we can raise a few kids, we can raise them for life. We cannot keep giving them back. Place of Safety, come in for a while and go back. Or stay a few years and go back. So we said, let's change the whole footprints outlook. Teach them Jesus and teach them family.
Wow.
And so that's what we did. And it was just amazing. We stopped taking on children that would only be placed there for a short time.
Yeah.
And we started taking on babies and raising them.
Wow.
So our youngest was 6 months. She's now over 20 and she's studying politics at the university.
How does that feel, Yolanda? That must feel incredible.
And her purpose is she wants to change the community. She wants to change lives and she loves Jesus and it just feels amazing. But so in 2004 there was a huge transition that took place from doing the children's centres to calling it home full of children. Not an orphanage, not a children's home, but it's a home full of children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That shift is quite big in its implications.
The shift was huge.
Yeah.
So the impact that it had on me as a person, and on me from a ministry point of view was huge. I just wanted to do this from a family point of view, as a family. So it was us and my two daughters, Sylvia and Carrie Lee. And Sylvia's more in Pemba than she is at home, but she helps us run the place. And then it's my sister and brother-in-law, and we run it as a family, and we're one big family, and that's Footprints. Now Iris Footprints. It's been Iris Footprints for a long time.
Yeah. How many live there at the moment?
In the family home as such, there's 32 children. There's a few widows in a home.
How do you set up? I mean, what is? I mean, is it a farm? Is it like?
It's a mini farm. No dorms. It's a mini farm, and we've built onto the house, so the houses are all, together. Oh. But it's like a big family.
That's amazing.
He's theirs and ours. There's nothing on us. Wow. Really. So from the smallest to the oldest, they brothers and sisters.
That's amazing.
It's awesome.
And obviously here in South Africa, I'm talking like I'm in Footprints in South Africa. There's a great need. There is a lot of kids that lose their mums and dads.
We have other centres. We have 4 other centres that we're involved with, where one has 80 kids, one has tons of kids. So there are probably about 300 children a day looking for foster placements and homes, which we help to place them. So we place them outside of Footprints, and we find foster homes and places of safety for them. But Footprints as a family has got to stay the way it is because of the purpose.
Yeah, if you get too much bigger, it's going to get a bit too crazy.
And for me, it was like we were getting to a stage where it was all about projects, feeding these and doing those and clothing those. And eventually the kids were getting so caught up in the good works that they almost lost focus on it's all about Jesus.
Yeah, wow.
And so we had to bring them back to basics and say, hey, what is Footprints about?
The Mary and Martha, almost like the Mary and Martha thing. Come and sit at the feet of Jesus for a while, rather than be busy getting everything done and serving.
And why are we called Footprints? Let's remember why we're called Footprints. And there's so many scriptures about the footsteps. And where we're standing is holy ground. And I keep saying to them, guys, it's not about the place, it's the presence inside of us. And in Proverbs, that scripture that talks about how we can make the plans in our hearts, but let God direct our steps.
Yes.
So I keep saying, as a Footprints family, we have got to let God direct our steps. And in so doing, all the other things will just come. Seek first the kingdom, and that's what we do.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a family with a purpose, and it's all about Jesus.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That is just so important, isn't it? Me as a dad in my family, that's what I want. Even though we're only 5, that's the exact same thing.
Yeah. So we have children that come for a short period of time, and they just get engulfed into this amazing love of God.
Wow, and, I bet. They must be astounded when they see how it all works.
And the adults. God sends us adults that have never had a childhood and have come from broken families and have orphan mentalities. And they arrive and they're like, I've never been hugged by a brother or a sister, or I've never felt part of my biological family. I've always felt set aside or set apart. And I really believe that for us, it's like Iris Footprints is there not only for the children, but we're there for the adults that have lost the sense of childhood. And they come and regain their childhood back.
Wow.
And South Africa is a great place to do it.
Everyone's cheering for you, Yolanda.
I can hear.
We've got the Harvest School happening in the background. We are live in Africa.
Absolutely. In my second favourite place.
Come on. Yes, besides home.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's incredible, Yolanda.
And also, Nathan, in South Africa, with the political unrest and the crime all around us, we have to teach our kids to focus on Jesus, not focus on the craziness, on the chaos, on the happenings around us, but focus on Jesus.
Now, there's probably a lot of our listeners don't understand what the dynamic of that is in South Africa. Basically, if you've got a house in South Africa, you've got to pretty much have a big fence around it, don't you?
and burglar bars and security fence, and it's basic. People see South Africa and they see Table Mountain and they see OR Tambo and they see first world. It's not first world.
Yeah.
It's third world conditions within a first world country.
Yeah.
There are the first world areas
Yeah.
and structures, but third world is where we live. We live in the outskirts of Johannesburg, surrounded by slums and
is that the
squatter
same
camps.
as like shanty towns? Is that the correct term?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's squatter camps, which are politically correct informal settlements and just a spiritual buzz of opportunity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So people just basically will build whatever they can to live in.
That's right.
Whatever sort of shack, and that there's a whole village built like it's almost like a.
That's right. No ablutions, no electrics, no electrical supplies at all. Those that have get stolen because they steal them for the copper wiring.
Oh my gosh!
So,
and there's probably not much security there anyway.
Absolutely.
They can't lock stuff up.
No, and they sleep at night with furniture against their doors and windows.
So people
So
can't get in.
we go into those places every day with our kids, as a family, and we go in and we just take Jesus into those places.
Gosh.
You know, and it's difficult because they like, you go in and you say, God's a good God. And they say, yeah, but look around me. What is good in this? But God's a good God.
Yeah.
We don't have all the answers, but God's a good God. So Iris Footprints is about bringing life to the dead world around us as a family. We do it as a family.
That's so powerful. Yeah, to do it as together.
Yeah.
And you've got that. It's a team.
It is, and the amazing thing is that we get teams that come on outreach to Iris Footprints, and our kids say, hey, we're going on outreach. This isn't the outreach. We're going on outreach. So for me, it's like, hey, you've got it.
Yes.
This isn't the destination. There's more out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Mm.
So, and how did you get property to start it all in the beginning? Did you have property, or
No, we had a house. We had a house. We owned 2 restaurants. We had a house, and that used to fund the ministry.
Oh, so you used to have restaurants.
But unfortunately, about 5-6 years ago, my then husband, he just had enough of ministry, and he just said, I want my life back. Like, there's not something you take back. When you lay your life down, it's not for a season, it's permanent.
Yeah.
Until Jesus comes. And he said, I want my life back. I'm tired of looking after people. I'm tired of ministry. I'm tired of the stress. I'm tired of the burnout. I'm tired of doing everything. And I was busy with a ladies' seminar, ministering there, and got home, and he was gone. Gone with all the stuff, furniture, everything. But hey, he left the kids. So that was a good thing. And I remember thinking, we sold the house, we bought this property together. We've completely changed our whole ministry focus. We've taken on so many more people, because it wasn't just children that moved, it was adults, and it was churches that we were overseeing.
Yeah.
How do you just walk away? But hey, that's what happens when we're so busy doing the things that we don't focus on the presence.
Yeah.
And
get that refilling and refueling and peace.
Absolutely.
That you need from just one-on-one time.
We have to think, what could I have done differently?
Yeah.
You know? Not how could you have done that? What could I have done differently? And I remember standing outside and looking out and thinking, how am I going to do this on my own as a single parent? And I'd heard Maltari preach a message. And one thing he said, and that was about a month before, it was here in Pemba. And Maltari said, your scenery may change, but your destination stays the same. And I thought, that's for me. That's for me. My scenery's changed, but my destination's the same.
Yeah.
And my vision's the same, because it's his vision and God's vision hasn't changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we continue. We pay off a mortgage, but hey, God's in it.
Wow.
So that's how we got the land. We sold the house to buy this property.
Right.
And then overnight, scenery changed, the restaurants left, the husband left, the finances left. But hey, God's presence stayed and the kids stayed.
Wow.
I look back and I think it's just a case of never giving up on that which you know God has called you to.
Yeah. Wow. That's
So,
really powerful.
I walk in forgiveness.
Yeah.
I walk in total confidence that God has us.
Yeah.
He's got this.
Now that light change, this is Pemba.
That's
You're enjoying
right.
the electricity here
Anything
in
can
Pemba,
happen.
guys. So slight change of tone. So maybe we should change the subject. The electricity has just changed here in Pemba.
Yeah.
No.
After hours.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So wow, that's the challenges of following God. It's right there. I mean, it's not always an easy path.
No, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. When you see the children ministering to their friends. We recently had a situation where I went out counseling to these two little kids. Their home had just been burgled, and with guns pointing at them and all sorts of things. And so to get them away from the environment, we brought them to the base, we brought them to Footprints, and we said, just come and just be with family and be with other children and let our children just love on you. And they did. And our kids were like, do you know Jesus? No. So the one says, the wonderful one is here with me, Daniel, you should get to know Jesus because your house was burgled. And we don't rely on alarms. We just rely on Psalm 91 and heavenly protection. And he's like, what are you talking about? This little 12-year-old dude. So Daniel says, do your parents not go to church? And he says, no, my parents don't have time for that. He says, well, we hope one day when they get to heaven, God doesn't say, I've got no time for you. So I'm like,
oh my gosh, how profound is that?
That's not how you do it. Then he says, Mommy, they need to wake up. They could have been killed. Like, this is very true. We need to tell them about Jesus.
Oh my gosh, out of the mouths of babes.
Absolutely. And I just smile.
Oh,
That's
your
so
kids.
that's what Heidi and Roland
You must be doing
did
something
for
right,
us.
Yolanda. It's
Well,
like, gosh.
I think the Lord is. We just help. We just do all the nurturing and the loving. And He
Yeah.
does the rest.
Yeah, you're literally being Jesus' hands and feet.
They being His mouth.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
really are.
Yeah.
We just sit back and watch.
Wow.
And we love seeing people come in there and just get healed by the love of the children.
And do you do education from home, or do they go to school, or how do you...
Both.
Oh, okay.
Both. We have secondary school, high school. What do you call it in the States?
Yeah,
high school.
secondary school, same.
But then at home we also have a school on the property. We do the government syllabus, and we do devotions every morning. So we add both.
Yeah, great.
So we have both, and then we have tutors who come in. All the Iris Harvest School
come through,
students
teach our kids for a
come
while.
through and
Come on,
please,
alumni.
we need more long-termers. Come more.
Oh, there you go,
Oh,
guys.
we do.
Come
We
on,
need
alumni.
long-termers.
Call you in.
Go and preach to nations. In South Africa, you can preach to nations. You've got Malawi, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique,
All so close to here.
Angola, Somalia. They're all there. They all come to find jobs within Johannesburg.
Of course, because it's so multicultural,
absolutely.
isn't it?
So
South
you're
Africa's
ministering.
a melting pot of different African
Absolutely.
tribes and nations.
It's
isn't
like a rainbow nation. And so what they do is they come to Johannesburg to look for work, all the foreigners. And with us going out every day to the different locations, we're ministering to them, and then they take it back home to their countries. So it is a ministering to nations. So come and join us. We need you.
Yeah. Oh
If
my
you've done
gosh.
Harvest School, come and join us.
Yeah. Be a mission to the nations in one
Absolutely.
spot. And
Absolutely. It's amazing.
oh my gosh.
You really do. You meet Malawians. There's Malawian churches, Mozambican churches full of just Zambian people from Zambia. So it's amazing.
That's incredible.
And then funny enough, over December and over like Easter time, you can sense the difference because a lot of people go home to their families.
Right.
And then there's a quietness that takes over.
Interesting.
Then there's different dynamics. But it's an incredible place for ministry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to touch back on just the the danger element too, because it's risky on here where you are. Now you've had some stories recently with some stuff going down with neighbours or something. Is it okay to talk about that stuff?
Just elaborate a little bit more.
Well, wasn't there
There's
something?
so much.
Yeah, I mean, people did a family get attacked?
All the time. That happens.
Right. So I'm pointing out one thing, but this is basically
Yeah.
happens all the time.
That happens all the time, where people, it's really living in a crazy zone. Basically, a little bit further from where we are, it's in the farm areas, and they're trying to highlight that in the media all over the world, because it's become, farm attacks have become something that is a daily occurrence in South Africa.
No.
And so people you hear gunshots every night all over the place. So 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So from a crime point of view, it's crazy because there's no jobs. So as much as Johannesburg is the hub of business activity, there's no jobs. And so the squatter camps get fuller and fuller. And one way to sustain their families is to steal. And go into steal. There's alarms and burglar bars and fences all around. So what do? You have to actually get into the property without the alarms being activated. So that's where people's lives are being put at risk. Because you will go outside to hear if your dog's barking, or something happens outside, or your car alarm goes off and you go outside to check.
Yep.
And the next minute you get held up by a gang or tied up or whatever. So there's a lot of violent crime happening, and I do a lot of the therapy for a lot of the victims.
I like trauma therapy.
A lot of trauma therapy.
Gosh, that's awful.
Rape victims and families of victims that have been murdered. Really, really horrible stuff. And my kids are aware of that. So they'll see me going out at 1:30, 2:30 in the morning. And they know to pray. And that's amazing. And the next day they'll say, Mom, are you okay? I'm okay. Thanks for praying. We prayed. And often what we do is we bring those people back to the base.
Right.
Because they don't want to sleep where they've been attacked. And so recently we had a family. We had a father with two girls. He was violently beaten up. And his 2 girls, teenage girls, were also attacked badly. And so they stayed at Iris Footprints for about 3 months, where we looked after them. And it was amazing to see the way the children just surrounded them with love. And we were safe here. We were okay.
Oh my gosh, it sounds too good to be true.
There's angels on the property, and they'll show them where the angels are. And it's amazing. It's incredible.
Wow.
And we just sit back and say, Jesus, you're awesome in the lives of these children. And truly, that scripture where in Exodus, wherever you're standing is holy ground, and they will tell those people, this is God's ground. It's holy ground. So no weapon formed against any of us can prosper. And you here. So you're safe. And they will. And it's incredible. And it's not even Christian people that come. It's victims of crime.
Yeah.
So they arrive and they have revival right there.
Oh my goodness.
They meet Jesus. We recently had a 70-year-old man that was so badly beaten up with a golf club.
Oh.
And he was just so badly beaten up, and he sat there during our worship times. And he said, I feel like I'm in a heavenly realm. And he said, I feel like I need to forgive.
Oh my goodness.
And that was just through the children saying, forgiveness is something God wants for you to do, so you can let go of anything that the enemy tries to bring against you. And that's just the children.
Goodness.
So
you're raising up ministers of the gospel.
Whereas what I'd been doing before was great. It was housing, feeding, and clothing.
Okay.
And that's necessary. You need to house, feed, and clothe. So we were housing, feeding, and clothing children. But then in 2004, there was a shift. And,
family.
It became about
being a real home.
Yeah.
And being a real family
Yeah.
shift.
I remember going back and saying, we need to change this. Something's happened. And I remember seeing Heidi on her knees behind the pulpit, just crying. And I was sitting there. I couldn't stop crying. I kept looking at her and just crying and saying, she has my heart. She has my heart. She has my heart for the children. She has my heart for the poor. I want that. And going back and battling to find people to just be with me in that excitement, that passion that I'd found for, hey, we can raise sons and daughters, not just raise children and raise. So we'd had a complete turnaround. And now it's a Footprints family. Then it was a children's home.
Yeah, yeah.
So since 2004, it's been a family.
Wow.
And yeah, we go into the war zones, and we go into the crime zones, and we go into the squatter camps, and we just take Jesus. That's all we have.
Yeah, right.
We have nothing else. And I keep saying to my children, we come into this world empty-handed. We leave empty-handed.
So true.
So
wow, it's so healthy
give them
for them.
Jesus.
Wow.
And let's show adults that they still can come to God as little children.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're not too grown up to actually know a Saviour and a God who loves you.
And our children do chores.
Yeah.
Which they get paid for.
Oh, nice.
Which they then go and do shopping, and then we make little gifts up, and then we go out and give them out into those poor areas.
Oh.
So they wrap that up, and that's from them.
Yeah.
And they go into the areas where there's old widows and poor old ladies, and they go out and they wash their feet, and they go and just give them food and go and love on them and pray for them, and it's incredible to see. Wow. And I just step back and I watch this and I say, thank you, Lord, because you know what? Your vision continues.
Yes.
So they actually don't need me there. I told them that today. You don't need me there. You're just doing it all on your own. And that's the key.
Yeah.
It's not saying wait till you're grown up to become ministers of the gospel.
Yeah. I mean, that is what is so important, isn't it, really? Is that there is no junior Holy Spirit. I mean, this is the work of the kingdom, and it doesn't matter what age you start.
That's right.
Wow.
And to get them to realize that the same Spirit in me is the same in them, whether they're 6 years old or 15 or 21. It's the same. It's all about them and their hunger and passion for ministry, and they have it.
Yeah. And knowing God, and knowing who they are in God, knowing how to move in Him and with Him, and
it
identity.
Absolutely. Their identity is incredible.
Yeah. It
really is.
So when you know who you are and whose you are, like, you're pretty much unstoppable.
I grew up in the movement of topical studies, where you study about topical subjects. Study eschatology and angels and demons and faith and 12 steps to this and 10 steps to that. And in all those things, they're all wonderful and we live by them all. But if you don't have the presence, you don't have God's heart, you can have all the knowledge. But it's that presence, and they have that. Wow. They may not be able to tell you Exodus 1:5 or 1:3 or 1:4 says, but they know it is written.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Oh, absolutely.
And when they worship, they just abandon themselves to everything that Holy Spirit does. And they take that with them wherever they go.
Oh my gosh, you've really...
So you have to come visit.
Yes, absolutely. And go to and there's a safari park close to, isn't it?
There is you can go and feed giraffe.
This is my 12th trip to Africa, and still no safari.
You can go and hold baby lion cubs.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do it. Oh
Let them bite you.
Yes.
Say, I was bitten by a lion. Absolutely.
Oh.
So there's lots of things. We'll let you sleep in one of the squatter camps. You'll be blessed.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
To have rats running over your pillow.
Oh, man. Hey. I know I could see them today from the plane. When I took from Johannesburg, you can see all the nice houses.
Yeah.
And then you can see all the no trees. A lot of them have no trees.
Yeah.
Like you said, the trees there.
That's
trees,
right.
and then all little like shack houses, but hundreds of them.
And there's
in a little
sewage
area.
Running in the streets. You step over sewage, and the kids play in that sewage. It's crazy. It's first world and third world. There's no in between.
Right next door to each other.
And I tell you what, both levels have emptiness. Both levels have orphan spirits. Both levels have a lack.
Yeah.
And I keep saying to my kids, some of those poor people are more content than those who have it all.
Exactly.
So, come visit. We'll take you to all the different areas.
Yeah, a man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions.
Absolutely not.
Whoa.
You cannot buy character.
No.
One of my favorite things to teach my kids, if you take the word attitude, and somebody said, what crazy person goes and does this? And who sits there and works out numbers? But hey, take the word attitude, and you take A, that's the first letter of the alphabet, and you take T, and you go down, that's the 20th, and you take T, and you add it all up, comes to 100. And I always say to my kids, everything we do in life, our attitude towards God and towards all that Jesus did has got to be 100% of what we take on for ourselves. Every choice has got to be 100% God-inspired.
Whoa,
every step has got to be
powerful.
100% God-directed and ordained.
Wow.
Otherwise, it's in the flesh.
Yeah.
So we put attitude written all over the place.
Oh.
And when they do something, I'm like, check your attitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's like
Yeah.
super powerful thing.
It's exciting.
Yeah, you see it
Sometimes they say, Mommy, your attitude.
happen. Yes, keeping you accountable too. Well, that's the thing. Once you set it up, it's great. I mean, I love that when my kids pull me up because they go, yeah, thank you. I'm actually doing something wrong here. So let's get Dad. Dad's not too good and perfect to get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I get it wrong, so I've got to get back on track.
And they love it when we get it wrong.
Yeah.
They do.
Mm.
They'll say, excuse me, adults are not always correct. What do you say? Sorry. And then you see them go, yes. Yeah.
I know. And that vulnerability is and that's what real family is. It's that vulnerability where it's, the dirt's out in the family, Families are messy.
That's right.
Things get crazy, but it's about not giving up, staying together, and listening to each other. When you're out of line or I'm out of line, we talk to each other.
Absolutely. And it's about me waking up in the morning and walking out my bedroom, and they look at me and I'm like, what are you looking at? Mom, are you in a bad mood? No. Yes, you are, Mom. I can see it. She'll bring you coffee. No. Mom, you're in a bad mood. Okay, fine. I've had a long night. Great. Just only say yes. And that's family.
Yeah.
I love my kids. They're so real. They respect, but they're real.
Yeah. So you've set a culture there in that family that has the room for mistakes, has room and is focused on Jesus.
And focused on truth. That's a huge thing.
Tell me about that.
I have a huge thing, a huge picture up on the wall says Mom's Rules. And it's things like, and often we have to show the adults. Sometimes we get some teams who say, hey guys, Mom's Rules. If you take something, put it back. If you break it, get it fixed. If it's not yours, leave it alone. And we have to remind each other all the time of this. So sometimes
Great
say, hey
rules.
guys.
I might have to take a photo of that.
Absolutely, I'll send you one. And the little ones will come, Mommy, I found this. Where did you find it? Over there. It's not lost. It's on our property. Find the owner. And then you'll see little Faith walking around. Whose is this? And we reward them for truth.
Wow.
So it's like, who scratched on the wall? You don't have to teach kids to lie.
No.
We have a little one of 3 who has a dirty diaper. And you say, Levi, do you have a dirty diaper? No. Yes, you do. Smells yucky. Not me, Mommy. That's kids. So the culture of truth is so important.
Yeah.
So we reward them for owning up.
Nice.
And we reward them for telling the truth. The consequences are different.
Yeah.
If you get caught lying, that's not good. So anything of truth, we're raising them to have the freedom to tell the truth.
Well,
The lights.
There you go. Look at that. The lights are back.
Truth.
Come on. Wow.
So that to me, truth is so important. So important. I tell them all the time, it doesn't matter what you did. The fact that you are free to come and tell me the truth, that's what's important.
Absolutely.
Because it'll come out anyway.
Exactly. And it's just a
Sin is
crazy
exposed.
deception to
Absolutely.
hide it. It's just, and we all fall into that trap, but the more we can learn
Absolutely.
to not hide that stuff.
It's difficult for a child to tell the truth when they've broken something and come, yes, it was me. But you can train them, teach them.
It's so funny. And can you tell when they're lying? I can tell nearly 100% of the time when my boys lie to me. I'm like, I know you're not telling me the truth. There's that something's just not gelling when you say that.
And it's amazing ways. So we have one who, he would probably get away with lying and we wouldn't believe it because he's good at it. He'll cry.
Wow.
He'll cry tears. I didn't do it, Mommy. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. And then I'll say, which hand did you use? Did you use this hand? And he'll say, no, I used this hand. So, yeah.
Little clever.
Yeah.
Trick.
Show me how hard you hit. I didn't hit. Just show me how hard. I just went like this. But that's family.
Yeah. Gosh.
And it's exciting to see them grow up in the knowing that the truth will come out.
Wow.
Be exposed somehow.
What advice would you have for people that are thinking about doing this, taking lots of foster kids or extending their homes and making their homes bigger to include more?
Think of the logistics.
Yep.
It's like saying I want to go into human trafficking or this or that or the next thing.
Right.
People don't think of the logistics behind that.
Is that a bit like counting the cost?
Oh, it's about teenagers grow up. They don't stay babies in diapers.
Yeah.
What do you do with puberty? Awareness of, we don't have a boys' bedroom and a girls' bedroom that girls aren't allowed and boys aren't allowed. We obviously have the little boys who sleep together in the bedroom and we have the little girls who sleep together in the bedroom, but they're brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So it's just like you grew up, you had your bedroom, they knock on the door when the girls are in the restroom and vice versa, but the logistics, the actual realities of raising children as a family, where you have to be aware that there are going to be subjects that you have to approach and watch. That is in any normal family.
Yeah.
With 2 or 3 children, it's easier. You'll sit your sons down and say, let me tell you about puberty and about growing up and about how to treat girls and about how to respect your mother and.
Yes.
But when you have more than 10, 12, 13 boys and, oh my gosh, you're the single parent, it's like, oh, Jesus, help me. And he does. So we have open communication. We have open discussions about things as a family.
You have to.
We do. So my advice would be, don't just look at, I want to open a home where I can just raise children, because those children are going to grow up.
Yeah.
And they're going to demand more attention. The world today is not like it was 20 years ago, where we had no cell phones, we had no PlayStations, we had no peer pressure. Nowadays, they want all that. And if you say, no, you cannot have it, you just have to read your Bible and focus on Jesus, they say, but wait a minute, there's a world out there. The minute they turn 13, 16, 17, they rebel.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
No.
So my advice would be, use wisdom and let them grow up being excited about being in love with Jesus daily. And that He is all that they need. However, doesn't mean they have to live in a secluded world where they have no fun, because hey, there's fun in God. You know that.
Absolutely.
I've seen you rolling around in 2010, rolling around up there. Yeah. 2010. Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, I know. It's 2017. That's crazy.
Time just goes by.
I know.
So my advice would be, keep it small.
Yeah.
Keep it family, keep it small. And stay connected and involved.
Yeah.
You have to stay connected. You have to play games with kids. You have to allow yourself to have a food fight with your kids.
That's good advice.
Hey, it's a birthday cake. Whose birthday is it? Yours. Wow. Let's sing. And then have a spare one on the side that you can bring out. and just have fun with them. We have party nights. We all, we have Footprints Has Talent once a month. Where they have to come up with an activity.
Oh my gosh, like a song or a dance or
whatever, or anything. As long as they have a microphone in their hands and they either act or they sing or they dance or they do whatever, they have to do something. From the littlest to the biggest.
That's so
So
fun.
whether they mime or whether they get some music together, whatever they do, or they play drums and they put up their own little boy band, but it's a Footprints Has Talent. What are you going to do? And that's what they do. And we sit there and we're the audience.
That's such a great idea.
So once a month, they show their creative skills.
Wow.
And you don't tease each other. You don't mock one another.
Yeah.
That's the other thing we do. We have family gatherings where we say, okay, has anyone been teased this week? Yes. He teased me about what my ears, because my hair's short and now he teased me about my ears. Is that nice? No. Say you're sorry. I'm sorry. But he teased me too. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Stay connected. Stay involved.
Yeah.
Stay on top of things. Because unless, if you see your child's a little bit low, a little bit down, why are you so quiet?
Yeah, something's up.
It doesn't change with numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but it changes with quantity if you allow the numbers to get too much.
Yeah.
So, and also, Nathan, the secret of a successful family, I think, is how many children do you have now?
3.
3. You have your oldest,
Yeah.
your middle, and your youngest.
Mm-hmm.
It's always wise to wait until your youngest is of an older age to bring in another young child, because that's what happens in a biological family.
Yeah, right.
Unless you have twins or triplets. But under normal circumstance,
There's a good gap.
Sarah will give birth when your youngest is a little bit older.
Yeah.
So it's no different in a spiritual family or an adoptive family.
Yeah, right. Because you need to take that time to.
And that's the mistake we did before, where we would open our doors to children that were older than ours, and it just caused chaos and it just disrupted everything.
Because they're already coming from another culture, whereas with the younger kids, you're building
Absolutely.
a culture, building the culture that you want.
Absolutely. So it's so
And
much
that's
easier.
okay. That's okay. Give yourself permission to do that.
Because now the older ones help us raise the younger ones,
Of
and the
course.
younger ones look up to the older ones, and it works that way. But the minute we say, well, we're just going to open a children's center, and we just take on any age group, that's what I mean by logistics.
It's a melting pot
yeah.
of all different.
Because
Yeah.
a child's going to come in and break the other child's toys just out of vindictiveness and anger. Like, you've got all these things, I don't.
Wow.
And the child's going to say, but we're a family. What are you doing? No, we don't have that. We don't have that. Because the baby comes in and grows
Yeah.
with the family.
Yeah.
And so it's a family project that we take on, this little newborn or 2 newborns or 3 newborns, and we
Gosh,
take them on.
I know about that now.
Oh, my
Our little baby gets inundated by his 2 older brothers every morning. They fight over him to have time with him.
And they
So
love
he's
it.
getting so much affection, which,
Yeah.
from other little kids that my other 2 didn't have growing up, really. I mean, the second one got a little bit from Izzy, but this third one is just getting smothered every day by his 2 brothers.
And that's what it's like. That's how it
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
And you look back and you will say, wow, we're doing this as a family. We're raising this baby as a family.
Yeah.
No different with us. Except there's a much bigger family.
Yes, and they know it's a family, and you
Yes.
tell them this is our family.
Yes.
So they aren't in any want of a family. They have their
They
family.
have a family. We are a family. And we
That's
had...
so. I mean, that's how precious is that. I
Absolutely.
mean, anywhere. I mean, South Africa, especially because there's so much home. I mean, there's so much abandonedness and so
There's
many
so
kids
many.
that need that, and the orphan spirit. I mean, James says the true religion is looking after widows and orphans in their need. But if people have the orphan spirit, are they an orphan? There's lots of people
Absolutely.
that they're carrying that rejection
That's
thing,
right.
that no family, I don't belong anywhere thing.
I don't feel loved. I don't feel
Yeah.
loved. I don't feel loved.
Yeah.
Well, for us, it's a case of how can we help people to know they're loved?
Mm.
Because feelings come and go. but that knowing that you're part
Yeah.
of a family.
The identity thing.
And my kids are awesome because they'll say, Mommy, we must take on more children. We must take on those. Can't you say yes when the social worker's phone? Just say yes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
No, little Levi needs to be another year older.
Yes, Mummy's got a bit of wisdom there, but isn't it amazing they have that heart?
They do. It's incredible. So
That's
I
like
met
what
this
my
one.
my son said to me. We're down the park and there's a homeless guy sleeping there. Like he must be drunk or passed out. He goes, and we were going on a holiday, and he goes, and I explained to him that he was homeless. He goes, Daddy, take him out. He can stay in our house because we're going away. Put him in our house. It's like,
That's amazing.
yes, maybe the house may not be the same when we get back.
I'm sure. But you know the fact that he said,
I know, isn't that beautiful?
giving you permission to
Yeah.
share your home. Yeah, so it's wonderful to see that. Our youngest one is at the moment on the base, 6 weeks old. And everybody just, wow.
Tell us a story.
Her name's Daniela.
Where did you get her from?
Well, actually, it's one of my oldest spiritual sons. This is a good story.
Yeah.
Who was an Iris child.
Yeah.
Grew up at Iris.
Wow.
And then when he was older, he left and came to Johannesburg, left the base, and came to Johannesburg and found a job in Johannesburg. And then somehow got retrenched and couldn't get back. And found me through the visits to Maputo from all those years ago.
I remember that you were around somewhere.
And yeah, so he found me, and there he was, a little bit older, and so he's been living there ever since. And we've really trained him and taught him and just really nurtured him into being a man.
Wow.
And he is now, and he got married recently. Well, not recently, about a year and a bit ago. For me, that's recent because time flies. And the baby's lights have dimmed.
Oh, come on, we're getting into the mood.
Yes.
Bit of
And
mood
so the
lighting
baby's
here.
6 weeks, and yeah, he's in his late 20s, so he was tired of like, hey, I've been alone for so long. I need to get married and have babies. And hey,
It's happening.
got married, and a few months later, she was like, hey, we're gonna be parents. So, yeah. So it's part of the Footprints family.
Oh, Yolanda, it
I
sounds so amazing what you're doing. I mean, is there anything else you'd rather be doing than doing that?
No, sometimes I think other people will see their children married, and I saw Mark and Cheryl today, and they're like,
How many weddings are you going to have coming up in the future?
weddings and all the other things. Birthdays we have all the time. Every month we have. That's their gift. It's the birthday cake. But everybody else's children grow up and leave home, and I'm like, will this ever happen to me? I mean, my daughters are in Pemba more than they are at home, but they staff the Harvest School and they love it.
Yeah.
So like Sylvia loves this place. So she has 2 homes. But hey, as some leave, others arrive.
It's true, yeah.
So yeah, I don't often very seldom take holidays because I just don't. But hey, I don't need that much me time.
Yeah.
So we have sleepovers, we have popcorn nights, we have baking nights, we have talent nights, we have fun.
Oh, wow.
And it's just a hub of activity.
That's amazing.
And I think my advice would be for anyone who wants to do that, stay connected and keep it family.
Wow.
Dormitories don't work anymore.
Yeah, if people are passing through, you're on the Iris website, I think, aren't you? Yeah, so Iris Footprints, Iris South Africa, Footprints base.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm coming. I'm going to come.
You have to.
I'm going to come.
It is, Iris means rainbow in Portuguese.
Yes.
So
Yiddish.
we say, hey, we're a rainbow family. And we are.
Yeah.
We really are.
Wow.
And often we compare colours. All of us around the table in summer, we compare colours, and we're all different
All
colours.
different tones.
All different tones, absolutely.
That's so
There's no black and white. There's multicoloured shades of brown. And then sometimes I'll lift my shirt and I'll put my arm next to my tummy and like, hey, look, there's 2 different shades, and they love it. So yeah, it's a rainbow within a rainbow.
Yeah.
And I think it was like just so amazing for me that in 2004, after being in ministry for so long, I'd been in ministry for so many years, there was a shift.
Mm.
And to me, it was like I moved from the professionalism of Christianity into the heart of the presence of what Jesus wanted. And yeah, so 2004 was a milestone in my life. And yeah, I can only thank Heidi and Roland for that. Because they were the catalysts.
Yeah.
They were. I'd been to Kenya and Zambia and Thailand and all sorts of places with teams.
Yeah.
Taking teams to different places. But something happened. Yeah.
Wow. That's huge, those things, are they? When you those.
Pemba wasn't even. I mean, it was on. It wasn't
we
even,
only started here in 2005.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it was just before the move. I just made it. I just got in. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So yeah, then we became friends of Iris, and then yeah, a few years later, we got the official Iris base stamp.
Yeah, why not?
We paid our dues.
Join the family.
We paid our dues.
Come on.
And I think it's great because we have to have the same DNA, the same core values.
Yeah.
And you only get that through relationship.
Exactly. It's so about relationship, isn't it? And family, and that's what we're trying to do. We're doing a school in LA, in Hollywood, and that's what we call it, ILA Fam, and that's because it's for film, acting, and music.
That's
but
right.
we like an acronym for family, because that's what it's all about, relationship and family, and that's how it's all started with Roland and Heidi, and that's how we've come in and you've come in. It's relationship and family. That's what it really is, the essence of it. And that's what the kingdom is.
That's right.
The kingdom is a family. And the more we can get...
The DNA with Iris is about family.
Yeah.
One of my daughters actually is very interested in going to a school.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to get her out.
She's very creative.
Oh, perfect.
Get her out of Harvest School staffing into...
Yes. Come on.
Into you guys and then back to home.
Yeah.
But it's all about relationship.
Yeah.
So if we do things logically, it doesn't always work.
No.
Because logic is plan.
Yeah.
But if we do things with the heart of putting Jesus first, creating relationship both this way and this way.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because Jesus first, because otherwise you don't have the truth, and you don't have Him, and then you have your identity, you have everything in place,
Absolutely.
and then you've got this family out here, and it's yeah.
If you just do this, it's unbalanced.
Yeah.
You need this.
Yeah. Come on.
So yeah, life is good.
Woo!
Life is good.
Come
Often
on.
people say, "Hey, you wear a wedding ring. Are you married?" Yes, I am. Obviously, to Jesus. Am I happily single? Oh yes, I am.
Wow.
Because I can give my kids so much more of myself. But I think great marriages are God ordained, and I think it's wonderful. But being a single parent didn't stop me from fulfilling what God had for me. And I think that's really important for people out there that think, "Oh wow, now what am I going to do?" Hey, God hasn't changed.
Yeah.
His vision hasn't changed.
Yeah. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Come on.
And He always makes sure that things work out for good. So He does. And I'm just so thankful for the fact that He's trusted me to impact the lives of the children that I have, that He's blessed me with.
It really, I mean, they are a gift. Children are such a gift. And you got 30.
30 odd.
30 odd. Oh.
Yeah.
It's true.
When our three little babies came in a couple of years ago, it was one in my room, one in Sylvia's room, one in Kerry's room, waking up every 2 hours, and you just get the one to sleep and the other one. Wah! And now that Sandra's older, she takes one into her room, and hey, it's a shared thing, and we're all blessed. So we all say, guys, God's using us to reach the nations. How? By starting in the community. How? By starting with us. So if we can change the lives of one person, change the community, we can change a nation.
Wow.
And it's all about him.
So it's possible. It is possible. Guys, just, if you feel like it, just do it.
That's it. Just do it.
I know, Yolanda, I've got a couple of questions before we finish off that we ask all of our guests on Iris After Hours. What is your favourite movie? Do you have a favourite movie?
Oh, I don't have a favourite movie. I love true stories.
Oh, yeah?
I love true stories. So we watch true stories. Wow, Nathan, I don't think I have a favourite movie. I have so many favourites.
Yeah, right.
So many.
But I know that thing about the true stories, yeah.
Oh,
There's
wow,
such
I love true stories.
I know they're powerful, aren't they? When you find, oh my gosh, this is true? What?
I just saw one recently that is amazing. Hacksaw
Ridge.
And I watched it with some of my older kids, and they were like, some of the adults were like, how can you let them watch this? I said, because his commitment is what I want to teach them. His dedication. He never gave up.
I know.
Don't give up.
In persecution and
absolutely
suffering, he didn't change. Yeah.
Any true story, I'll watch.
Come on. Now, do you have a favourite sound?
As in musical?
Musical or anything?
Oh, wow. Definitely not babies crying.
I know what, it's not my favourite sound.
Oh, no. My favourite sound. Oh, well, I think the sound of waves.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I love the sound of waves.
When I was in the music industry, we used to have those synthesizers to make white noise and the sounds of waves and stuff. And that's so relaxing. Like water, flowing water.
Yeah, you used to be
rivers of living water.
So that's what could be an alternative profession for you. That's our next question. If you weren't doing this, what's something else you could possibly do, or you'd like to do, or explore?
Well, I do public.
Rockstar?
No, that was then, not anymore.
You've
I
done the
do
Rockstar.
public speaking now. I still do public speaking, so I enjoy that a lot.
Nice.
I do a lot of training,
Yeah.
a lot of teaching counselling.
Yeah.
Different forms of counselling. So I do that. And that I love. I love doing that. It's a passion.
So you train people to be counsellors?
Yes.
Wow.
I do that.
That's amazing.
So I still do that. For crisis centres, for trauma centres,
Yeah.
for police departments, I still do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Different forms of counselling and communication.
Yeah. Now, I've got to remember, which questions have I asked you? There's one more. Now, in the end, when it's all said and done, and life on earth is through, and you are going up to heaven to meet Jesus, what's the first thing you want to hear him say to you, to Yolanda?
Obviously, it would be what we all say, well done, good and faithful servant. But I think the fact that he knows I didn't give up, because I kept my eyes on him, and that he says, thank you for not taking your eyes off me. I want to see him amidst the biggest storms of my life. I want to keep focused on him. And that he says, I saw your eyes. They didn't go off me. Whoa. Yeah, they stayed focused.
Wow.
In the deepest, darkest, most chaotic night that I can say, Lord, you're with me.
Whoa.
He is.
Mm.
Through the gunshots, through the storms.
Yeah. And isn't that the amazing reality, is that he is, no matter what's happening, but we will go into fear or panic or
anxiety,
doubt or confusion, all those plethora of things that we can go into, but the reality is that he is there all the time. He will never leave us or forsake us, even though it looks crazy.
I couldn't do it without that.
Yeah.
Without that knowledge.
Yeah.
I would be crazy, stressed out. But I'm not, because I just say, well, Lord, it's in your hands. It's all yours anyway.
Yeah.
They're his kids.
Wow.
It's all about him. It truly is.
That's like probably one of the big keys to parenting right there, isn't it? That they're his kids. And I'm doing my best with them and staying with my eyes on you.
Yeah. hey Lord, I did my best. Well, your best wasn't enough. You should have done my best.
Oh,
Life is great.
come on, Yolanda. Well, listen, thank you for coming in and being on Iris After Hours. We love having Iris missionaries, and your story is just incredible. And so, guys, drop in and see footprints. If you're coming to Africa, look up Yolanda and just leave some comments at the bottom of this as well about this podcast. And we are going to do a ton more podcasts here in Africa. But Yolanda, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Yeah. And do you want to just release a blessing over our listeners?
Well, you're all amazing just for watching this incredible program. And yeah, I just pray that God blesses you, that as you watch, you go and do, that you never give up, ever. That you stay focused on Jesus. And that your footprints will be deep enough for others to follow. And that as all you leave behind is Jesus. Not character, not personality, just Him. And in that you'll be blessed.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, guys, bless you, and we will see you on the next episode of Iris After Hours.
With the flashing lights.
Yes! Ciao. This podcast is presented by Iris Global. For more information or to support the work of Iris Global, please visit us online at irisglobal.com.